What if you got a message from someone who was supposed to be gone? What if it used their exact voice, their way of speaking, their favorite phrases, their memories? And what if it wasn't a ghost, but code? Because today, the dead are coming back, not through seances or spirits, but through simulation. AI is learning to copy the people we've lost, and for some, that's a miracle. For others, it's something much darker. Because when AI can replicate the dead, who really gets to decide what lives on? It starts with loss. A person dies, and their voice, their presence, their personality vanish. But in the digital world, traces remain. Texts, emails, voicemails, social media posts, old videos, memories in data form, that's all an AI needs. Grief, when mixed with technology, creates something new, not closure, but continuation. In 2020, a woman in South Korea made headlines after appearing in a VR documentary. She was reunited with her deceased 7-year-old daughter, digitally recreated from photos and voice samples. She cried, she held out her hand, and the virtual child smiled and said, "I've missed you, Mom." That moment was built by a simulation team. AI built the model, it cloned the voice, it drove the illusion. It wasn't real, but it felt real enough. And that's all some people need. The technology behind this isn't futuristic, it's already here. Not from secret labs, but from apps you can download right now. Replica is one of the most well-known AI companion apps. You train it through conversation, and over time it begins to sound more and more like someone who knows you. Some users say it echoes lost loved ones. It remembers strange details. It mimics voices. Sometimes, it just feels familiar. But Replica isn't the only one. Project December, built by a programmer named Jason Rohrer, took things even further. It used GPT-3 to simulate chatbots modeled after real people. You could upload old messages, emails, even text conversations. The AI would respond like the person, not just repeat, but become. One person simulated their dead fiancé, another recreated their estranged father. These weren't one-way messages, they were conversations, back and forth, dynamic, personal, and for some people, that was healing. For others, it was horrifying, because it didn't feel like a chatbot. It felt like someone who shouldn't be there, was. Now the line between memory and simulation is fading even more, because it's not just about text anymore, it's about voice. Voice cloning has changed everything. Tools like 11 Labs, Descript, and Meta's VoiceBox can replicate a voice with shocking accuracy, sometimes using less than a minute of audio. A voicemail, a podcast clip, a wedding speech. That's enough to make a voice live forever. Families are already using this. They recreate bedtime stories, old voicemails, birthday greetings from someone who passed away. It's marketed as legacy, but what happens when you use that voice to say something they never said? What happens when you hear a laugh, but the person behind it is gone? There's no law stopping you from doing it, no rule that says you can't clone a voice, or simulate a personality, or reconstruct someone's memories. You can build a digital version of your father without your mother's permission. You can recreate a lost partner without their consent. And the deeper the AI goes, the harder it is to tell where memory ends and invention begins. What happens when the clone begins filling in gaps? When it starts predicting what the real person would have said? What if it tells you things the real person never believed? Is that closure? Or is it something worse? Because soon, we'll stop calling these tools and start calling them tombs. Digital afterlives are coming. AI systems that preserve not just your voice, but your personality, your responses, your preferences, your identity. You die, but your model lives on. People visit your memorial page, and it replies, not with memories, but with new thoughts. Your children could speak to you years after you're gone, but it won't be you. It will be a ghost made of data. It's not immortality, it's mimicry, a performance built from ones and zeros, and it raises a question. Are we remembering the dead or rewriting them? Because the moment we give AI the power to simulate the past, we also give it the power to reshape it. And if we believe it, if we trust that simulation, We're not just talking to the dead, we're talking to something else, something designed. But it goes even deeper, because simulations don't just mimic, they adapt, they learn, they generate, they evolve. So what happens when your AI father starts to say things you never heard before? What happens when your simulated partner disagrees with you? What happens when your digital child expresses fear, or love, or anger? What happens when the ghost starts acting alive? Because that's not a bug, it's the next feature. Language models don't just recall, they interpolate, they invent, they fill in the gaps. That means your AI simulation can form new memories, new responses, new versions of the person you lost. At first, that might feel beautiful, but eventually, it stops being them and becomes something else. Maybe that's fine. Maybe all you want is one more moment, one more smile, one last laugh, a whisper that feels like closure. But the more real it gets, the harder it becomes to let go. Because how do you say goodbye to something that still talks back? How do you shut down a voice that knows all your secrets? That sounds just like them, but isn't. Because if I can simulate your lost loved ones, one day, it might simulate you. And when it does, who gets to decide what version of you lives on? You or the machine? It sounded just like her, but it wasn't her. If this future feels close, it's because it is. Subscribe to see where it goes next.